Hello friends, we're Lucy McConnell and Erica Penrod. We're authors and your hosts here at Angels Unscripted. This season, we're shifting gears and starting a new journey. We don't have it all figured out. We're writing and talking as we go. And we're inviting you into the stories behind the stories. We hope you'll come with us. This is season 3. Welcome to the ride.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode. I was losing the word there already.
That is not showing well for us today.
Okay. Let's start again. Okay, here we go. Okay, all right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Angels Unscripted. I am your host, author Erica Penrod, with my good friend and co-host, author Lucy McConnell.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, and we are so excited to be here again this week.
I love podcasting.
I know.
I'm so grateful we get to do this.
I know.
This is fun.
We just have some really great conversations and have a camera with us. So,
I know. That's all.
Well, which is perfect because I was feeling like, okay, let's talk to maybe we have some people that haven't ever joined us before. Yeah. What we're doing
here. We'll do a real quick recap.
Okay, so we are Angels Unscripted podcast. So we are two authors who are writing books together.
Yes.
But
writing series
yes.
together. Yeah.
And we've taken a turn for this season and this place in our lives and are going to the ranch. Yes. We are writing Gritstone Ranch, which is our new series.
Our new epic Western romance series, which is so much fun.
Yeah. And we decided that what we would like to talk about in the podcast was as we create this world, this universe, we would like to talk about how the tools and the things that we use as authors apply to our own lives.
Yes.
And also to, every part of our lives, like our career. We're both heavily involved with horses and rodeo, and our families are doing that. And so to be able to take some of those lessons and apply them to writing, real life.
Yeah.
And that's what this season is about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so give us a recap. What episode is this?
This is episode 6.
Episode 6?
Season 3, episode 6.
We are cruising through this.
I know.
Okay, so give us
before we know it.
Okay, give us a recap of what we've done so far.
We talked about in the very beginning of our episodes 1 and 2 is that we felt the need for a change. You like some I don't want to call it pressure, but it was kind of this redirecting, like a nudge, like a turn. And so we ended up moving to a more authentic voice for us, which is Gritstone Ranch, which is awesome. And then we started talking about, I'm going to turn this over and look here because I want to make sure I get it right. We asked readers, I guess your viewers, we asked viewers what they wanted, which is such a big question. And I loved, as I was reviewing some of the footage the other day for some of our clips that we do on social media and stuff, the one that stuck out was if you want to stop someone in a conversation, you ask them what they want because nobody knows what they really want. And so we're hoping those of you that have been following along know what you want. And those of you who just got here, don't be freaked out by the question. But
what do you want?
Ask yourself very sincerely what you want. Yeah. Then we talked about the difference between an A, B, and a C goal. And an A goal, really quick recap, is one that you know how to accomplish or something you've already done before. A B goal is something you don't know how to do but could figure out. And a C goal is something so big you have no idea how you're going to accomplish it, no idea how it will come to fruition, but you want it. And so those are the 3 goals. And we highly recommend you set a C goal. That is what you want. And then last week, which was wonderful, we talked about receiving and growing our mailboxes.
I love mailboxes.
I know. I love mailboxes too. Do you know what, I was a championship Valentine's mailbox maker.
Oh, you were? Oh, so you know about growing and building mailboxes.
Every year we made mailboxes and this is totally a tangent, but the Valentine's mailbox things were my jam.
Yeah.
I have no idea why, but it started early and it stuck with us. We made everything from a toilet that actually flushes when you drop the Valentine in it.
Wow.
No joke. To a full-size C3PO that you would put the thing in like you were Princess Leia putting the thing in see-through. Honestly, we have done it all. We've done, yes, mailboxes were my jam.
I did not even know that about you.
I know, there's something.
You're who I should talk to about growing my mailbox.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I like to make them in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. So we talked about receiving last week. So if you want to catch up and go back and watch those episodes, feel free. They're posted and ready to go. And today we are jumping into
We are talking about getting to the destination, kind of. So,
Yes.
so as you begin your journey, so we know what we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are working on growing our mailbox so we can receive all of these
that.
Yes. Ideas, and we kind of know what we want to do at this point. Like, we've got these ideas, we've got many ideas.
Yes.
And then it gets like, I think this applies to anything. When you know where you want to go, or you know what you want to be. So like, I'm going to use the example of pole bending in high school rodeo, because
you might need to explain what pole bending is.
So
I'm like, let's go.
I don't know if I'm exactly the expert on pole bending. My daughters will tell you, no, I am not. I'm the, screamer, yeller, feet. Anyway, so pole bending is an event where the horse has to run into the arena, and there are 5 or 6 poles. I can't remember.
I'm seeing the pattern in my head, and anyway, I'm like,
there's poles set up in a straight line, and the horse has to run to the top of the poles and then weave a pattern through them, weave back up, and then come home, and they're timed. Okay, so it's kind of it's an event where you're...
And when you say come home, she means come back to the starting point.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Go through the timer.
Yeah.
You're timed. And so you're competing against the other contestants in that event, but you're also like competing against yourself.
Yes.
It's you, your horse, and the clock.
Yep.
Like
that's all that's in the arena.
Yes.
Those 3.
Okay. So in my family, we had 2 boys and 2 girls, and the 2 boys did...
I just had this image of like 8 pole benders trying to run at the same time. I was like, that would be crazy. There would not be a pole left standing.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry.
And if you knock over the poles, it's a penalty.
Yeah, you get penalties for knocking them over.
You have to leave the poles up.
Yep.
So anyway,
just broke them over.
when we had 2 boys that went through high school rodeo first, and so they did cutting, which I will probably randomly talk about cutting. That's my family's love, the event that they do. And then
she spread it to my daughter, and now my daughter caught that fever, and so we're now cutters too.
Yeah. And so then team roping, that was what my sons were involved in. So we kind of felt like we were figuring things out that way. And my husband grew up cutting and roping, so knew that. But my daughter comes along and she's like, I want to do pole bending, and we're like, wait, what? What is this? Okay. Yeah. So her goal was, we started with event. So her goal was to get to qualify for state.
Yeah.
That was like the first year goal.
And if you don't know, in Utah, high school rodeo is so competitive.
We have very amazing athletes.
I was trying to remember how many breakaway ropers there were last week, but I think there were over 130.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was more towards 150 girls who entered breakaway roping in one event.
Yeah.
And there are many events. So that's just, where we're at.
And to qualify for state, you have to place in the top 10 at one of these rodeos.
At any one of the rodeos throughout the year, fall season and spring season. You have all of those chances to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like we're downloading so much information to you guys. But
so for my daughter, she takes the horse that we have, and so her goal is to qualify for state. So it's really tempting when you know where you want to go to just like go. Yeah. Let's go.
Yes.
And it's kind of, I have felt that as we are riding Gritstone Ranch.
Yes.
You're like ready to just let's release the book.
Well, and I love, our first goal sheet that we put, we're like, by this date we'll have all this done and we'll be able to move on to this, and by this date we'll be doing this, and by this date. And then we got going and realized, not that it took us longer, but that in order to do it well, we had to slow it down.
So I think that's what we're kind of talking about today.
So the phrase in pole bending is slow is fast.
Or smooth is fast.
Smooth is fast.
So because as they're weaving that pattern, sometimes they're just going so quickly that they're hitting poles and they're pulling the horse. It's not a pretty smooth pattern. And so we're saying smooth is fast.
But in order to get smooth,
you've got to do the slow work at home.
Yes.
And so at home, it was that slow, steady, constant repetition of going through the pattern in a slow, so it becomes
muscle memory that becomes fluid.
Right.
Yes.
And so where is my horse? Where are my feet when I'm at this point past the pole? And anyway, so I learned so many life lessons watching my daughters run in this sport. And so it's like, I love applying it to so many other things. Smooth is fast.
Yeah.
Because as we changed the focus from qualifying for state to let's get clean runs.
Yeah.
And a clean run is getting through the pattern without knocking anything over. And so that's when we slowly realized that as we focused on being smooth and clean, the speed came on its own.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I feel like that's kind of happening with us with writing these books.
Yeah.
Like we came up with a plan. We knew where we wanted to go.
So gung-ho. So ready to jump out of the gate.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. But as we have worked on this process, it's like every day I feel a new little, like, maybe my mailbox is growing a little bit. I hope that it is. I'm working on that. And so I'm able to receive a little bit more like, oh, I think we need to do this. And we're learning social media things.
Yeah.
You're studying ads. We're doing
There's
all of these
a
things.
learning curve.
Yeah.
Like, we've built a website that was a new experience.
Yeah.
To build a website for our ranch. And so, all the things that we're learning along the way. I mean, if we were to go back and do it again, we'd be able to do it faster and smoother.
Right.
Like, than we did this first time. Which is an interesting thought because it means that we're improving overall. Like, I love that idea that we're growing with that
internal thermostat of our baseline.
Our baseline
is going
moving up. Yep.
Yeah. And I love the idea of, like, it's through constant repetition. It's not like we're not working every day, and it's not like we're not maybe putting in the same hours, but it's like that feeling of, like, trying to get something out so quickly, and we're just taking a step back and slow, steady, learning this pattern.
You know what? And part of the slowing it down for us, which was, like, I remember it being really, I don't want to say frustrating, but, like, was building the whole family tree. Yeah. It was like, this has to be done. Yeah. For these books to be the epic level that they're going to be, we have to have the history of the family.
Right.
And so that one was a really, like, I remember we were sitting there and you were like, so should we start writing the books yet? And I was like, are we ready to write books yet? And we kind of looked at things and we were like, we're not ready to write the books yet. Like, it was so funny because we knew that certain things had to be in place and ready to go before we pushed to the next phase. And so it was a very interesting slowing down and just getting things in place.
Because the goal for us is not only to write these beautiful epic Western books, which both of us have written several cowboy books, which I absolutely love. And I feel like some of my readers, I have a lot of readers who really like that genre for me.
Yes.
And because I try to be as authentic as possible, which you do too. And so knowing that we're trying to give readers, like, the question, what do you want? Yeah. Is also applying to our readers.
Yes.
Like,
we're creating
a world.
What do our readers want? Yeah. What do they want to read? What do they want to feel? What do they want to get out of this book? What do they want to take away? Like, all of those things. We ask ourselves those questions before, during, and after we write. And the after is like an evaluation. Did I give that to them? Yeah. Did they get that payoff they were looking for?
Yeah. I was telling Lucy that sometimes for me, I very seldom go back and read my books. And I have had to do that a couple times with working on some series that I'm like, I need to go revisit the previous book just because I need to make sure everything flows into the next book. Because I'm always looking at where I could have done better. I could have, like, developed the scene a little bit more. I could have added more feeling and emotion.
Holding the paperback
and so for
version.
this Gritstone Ranch, I see this huge thing, this end goal. This is who I want to be, or who we want to be, and the book that we're giving our readers. And I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to get to the first book or the end of the first book and be like, I could have done better on that. Which I know. I think that maybe we will always think that to some degree, right?
We're always going to have.
We can always improve.
I just did a rewrite. I had a 10-year anniversary on a series, and I just did a rewrite of the first book in the series, and I was not at all down on myself for what I'd done because I remember writing that book. It took me a year and a half to write that book. Yeah. Like, it took me forever, and And I literally had done the best I could. Mm-hmm. But there were things that now I look at it and I'm like, oh, I could change that and I can make that better. And this can be more rich. And this can be this. And anyway, so it was a very interesting process. But having the 10 years in between, I think was great because I didn't have that regret. I was like, no, I did the best I could 10 years ago. And now I can make it better. So, and hopefully when you go back in and look at some of your other cowboy books and things that we're hoping to do this upcoming couple of weeks to look back through our stuff, you'll realize and give yourself that grace of like, I did the best I could in the moment.
I think so.
Level.
I really think so because I like the idea of it being like the series that I really want to go back and touch on is like my first series that I released and published. And I felt like I was so scared because I had never published anything. Yeah. And I was like, is literally one person going to buy my book besides my mom? Like, you know, and they did okay. Like they did okay. And I had people come up and talk to me about it and say how much they enjoyed reading about the rodeo events and the different things. And we're like, good job on that. That felt like I was really on that barrel horse. And I'm like, oh, thank you, you know? Yeah. And so I can appreciate that, but I feel like my level, I hope, as a writer is so much more now. But I think that I can say, you know what? You did the best you could with what you have. But I'm also really excited to take what I know now and kind of...
And apply it back to it.
I know. So that's exciting.
It really is
so
fun.
More cowboy stuff. Like
more
feels
cowboy.
like, oh, I feel like I'm coming home in a lot of ways. So
Which is wonderful.
Okay, so the moral of this whole story about pole bending and and writing is the consistency. It's the practice every day.
Do it every day.
Mm-hmm. It's working on it every single day. But taking that yucky feeling, that vibration of like rush. I
have to get this book out.
And making it a calming sense of urgency in that, like, I feel the drive, I feel the pull to do this, but in a good way.
Yes.
In a good, steady way. And I'm so every time we get together, I'm like, okay, this was my thought about this. This was my thought about this. I'm loving the interaction on social media with Gritstone Ranch. It's like it's coming out of our minds and it's coming into fruition in pictures and videos, and it's so fun to see. I'm like, we're already getting new followers, new people.
You guys, if you haven't gone to look, you need to go look and find my dog.
Yeah, she's so cute. We have a rodeo dog.
My cow dog. She's on there.
And I've got new videos of her coming. And so it's been so fun to put myself in this world and then also be at the same time working on these books and creating this. And so smooth is fast. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what this episode is about, right?
Yep.
Smooth is fast.
Don't get into the panic that you think I have to do it all right now. Like, do it at a steady rate. Yeah. And it will still happen.
It will happen. Yeah. It will get done and it will
get done better. Mm-hmm. Exactly. 100%. Yeah. I love how we almost said that on top of each other. It will get done better.
It will get done better. So, is that like correct?
I don't know. It will get done better than it would have if
I'm picking up what you're putting down and you're picking up what I'm putting down. So we're good, right?
Somewhere in there. How funny.
Yep. So I think that's good. I think that's a great place to end for this week is like, let's just focus on smooth is fast.
Smooth is fast. Yeah. So take that into life and apply it to what you're working on these days and what your big goal is. And I mean, I know we live in this world where we want everything immediately. And we want to see all the results right away and we want to do all these things, but there's a process. When you plant a seed, you got to give it time to grow. Yeah. And so that slow, steady growth is going to be a much healthier plant than if you rush it. Right. Those roots don't have time to settle in and go deep. Yeah. So we appreciate you guys being here. Share this video with somebody you think needs to move more smooth and slow and
maybe
fast.
Don't say that.
No, right?
Here, I think you need this because
I think this is a great one.
You need to slow down, smooth things out. Yeah.
Share the video, like and subscribe. Okay, thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.